Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to record a video for YouTube or whatever it is. So the software that I mainly use is the OBS Studio. It's really quick and it's free to kind of download and kind of easy to use as well. So the first thing that you need to do is just go into obsproject.com and then just pick the platform that you're going to be using it on, so whether that's Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and things like that. So you just select whichever one it is, and it should start downloading it within your browser. And if not, you just want to click on try again and it should sort of force to download, but you should have no kind of problems with that. And then once it's finished downloading, you just want to click into it to kind of run the program and install it for the first time. It'll ask you for your password, and then it'll just kind of walk you through the setup. Sometimes it does this thing where you try to install it and it'll say that Zoom or Skype or another platform is clashing with it. The only way I've seen around that is if you uninstall whatever programs it's saying that's clashing with it. You just want to uninstall those first and then install OBS and then install those programs again. It's a bit of a hassle, but it's the only way I could really see to get around that. The only two platforms I've seen it happen with is Skype and Zoom. So maybe just try and removing that first. If you are getting that issue, sometimes it works completely fine even without having to do all that. But if you are getting the issue, then you need to remove the programs that it's complaining about and then install OBS and then install Zoom again, and you shouldn't have any problems after that. But yeah, once OBS is installed, then it's kind of ready to use basically. So when you're recording your video, it's easier obviously if you have your two monitors. So obviously you'll have your computer and then you'll have your second monitor there. You'll use one of the monitors, and this will just be your actual display whenever you're recording. So what you want to show to like your audience and things like that. The way I kind of set this up, so if it's on a browser, for example, if you're on like a website or anything like that, I tend to put it on full screen mode. So if you go into three dots, if you're on Chrome, or I think it's the same process for Firefox, but essentially you just want to go in to settings and then just put it in full screen mode. That way they can just see the full page and they don't see any of the the tabs that you have, the bookmarks or anything like that. You can just have that just clear sort of on the screen, just the page that you have. Obviously when you're switching between tabs, it can be a bit annoying to exit out of that. Usually what I do whenever I switch between tabs is that I pause the recording, switch the tab, and then unpause it again. It's a small hassle, but it does make the overall the overall video look a bit more professional, I think. And then so you'll have the one screen, and that's just dedicated to the actual video and what you want to actually show your users. Then you have the other screen, and that's going to look a little bit different. So this is usually what my other screen looked like. So this is the screen that isn't recorded, but it's what you use to kind of control your recordings basically. So on the left you see you've got I've split screened it, so you've got the OBS settings on the left, and on the right is where I have the actual, essentially the script and the points, the notes that I have of what I want to talk about in the video. So you plan this part out first, so you write down not exactly a full script, you want to write down sort of like bullet points of what you want to talk about. Sometimes full paragraphs are needed, sometimes a simple line is enough. Usually I find when I write big chunks of text, it's a little bit harder to read the text as well as display, keep showing on the screen what it is I'm trying to show. Sometimes it's easier to just keep everything in bullet point form, and that way it kind of flows a bit nicer. So you're showing what's on the screen and then you use a bullet point in case you if you can't remember a certain line, or if there's something specific you want to remember to talk about. It just makes everything kind of flow a bit nicer. But you'll have videos, the text on the one side and the actual recorder on the left. And then with OBS, this is kind of the main controls that you have on the right here. You can obviously see a preview and you can see exactly what the other screen is recording. But essentially you would use this function up here to stop and start your recording. And then you can also use the play and pause feature. So if you click the pause feature, it'll pause your recording. So if you need to do something like bring up a photo, if you need to switch tabs, if there's something that's loading and it's taking too long to load and you obviously don't want to record all of that loading part, you can just pause the recording and then make sure you make sure you unpause it and then just go back to recording again, and that'll kind of help to make your video kind of flow a bit nicer, and just making sure that you're not getting lots of unwanted recordings if something's loading and things like that. You can sort of see at the bottom, so it's letting me know that's recording now and how long the recording's been so far. When it's paused, this will come up as paused as well. And then as you're talking, you can see that the microphone's picking up as well. So you want to make sure that you have OBS as well set up, making sure that you have the microphone is connected, and make sure that's it's recording the correct display. So I've got my two displays connected here. What you might want to do before you start recording is test that the microphone and the display is actually working. So before you go to start recording your actual video, start a recording and just like speak into the microphone, and like click around the display that you have, and make sure that it's picking up on both of those things. Test that out a few times, make sure that the microphone is clear, and make any adjustments that you need to make, and then start recording your actual video, because you don't want to be recording the whole video and then later on and by the end of it you realize actually the microphone wasn't connected properly, or the display wasn't on the right display and things like that. So just make sure you test it out first before recording your actual video. And another thing to remember is that OBS do have hotkeys as well. So if you go into Files and Settings, and you should see within the settings there's like this hotkey section here, and it just lets you basically use hotkeys so that instead of going back to the controls, so for example if you wanted to pause your recording you have to click here, but what you can also do is set a rule for pause recording to be Control P, and then just click Apply and then click OK to save, and that means now whenever I click Control P it'll pause the recording, and that way I don't need to go back and make sure I click recording here. I can just quickly just do it on my keyboard. One thing that's a little bit annoying about OBS is that when you go to click pause, sometimes you might hit the stop recording button, and that will stop your recording entirely. You need to start a new video. So sometimes it's easier to just set up the hotkeys to pause and play your recording instead of just making sure that you click the pause button. But that's also an option as well if you wanted. So once your video is recorded, all you need to do is click stop recording, and that'll stop the recording, and it'll automatically get saved to the folder that you pick. So if you go into File and Settings and then go into Output, you can see the recording path is here. So this is where all my recordings will be saved in this videos file. But you can always click Browse and it'll open up your File Explorer, and then you could pick a different file if you wanted to. But essentially once I've finished a recording, I'll just go into the File Explorer, and then you just want to go into the Videos tab, and then what happens is every time you stop a recording it'll just save itself here, and the way that OBS saves the project is it'll save it as the date and the time that the video was recorded. So these are like previous videos, and it'll show the date and time that I've recorded it, and that's the default title of each video. So you want to make sure if you're recording a few videos in one day, you want to make sure that once you record one video, you immediately rename it to something else, because what happens is if you're recording multiple videos in a short space of time, you'll kind of lose track to see like of what each video is about. You'll need to actually open and play each one of them so you know which video is about, so it gets a bit messy. So every time you stop a recording, either if you need to delete that video, then delete it. If not, then just click on the video and just rename it so that it's a bit more meaningful, and you don't need to, but at the end of it you don't need to go through each video to kind of understand which one is in whatever video it is. So yeah, just make sure that you do that. If you ever need to edit your video, so for example if your video is in like multiple parts and you need to put it together, or if you need to edit out certain parts of the video, if there's like background noise that was picked up, or if you've made a mistake, or you've said something and you need to edit it out, what you can do is use Clipchamp. So it should be already installed if you're on a Windows platform, but Clipchamp is just like a really easy to use kind of video editor, and you can use it to like cut out certain parts and put videos together basically. Again, going back to if your video is recorded in multiple different parts, what you can do is put them all together using this video editor. So what you would do is it'll show a recent of all of the videos that you have edited with Clipchamp. But if you wanted to edit another video, all you need to do is click on create new video, and then once the editor is loaded, what you need to do is add the video that you just recorded, or add the videos that you want to put together. So for example, we'll do these two videos, and we'll click and drag them into the bin here, the media bin, and then those two videos will load, and then you just need to click and drag that into the actual editor here. And then if it's just simply putting two videos together, then you just want to make sure that you just put the two videos together, make sure there's no gap. If there's a gap like this, for example, it's usually easier to just put them separate and then just click on the little bin icon that comes up. So if you hover over this gap, then it just fully gets rid of all the gap, and that way you've got like two videos that are seamlessly kind of edited in together. And also what you can do is then you can also trim certain parts out. So you can, if you know that you've made a mistake in some place, or if you know you want to get rid of something, you can just split essentially two parts or parts of the video together, and then just delete the part that you want to edit out, and then just put the two videos again together again, basically, and then you've got that sort of edited out as well. Once the video is edited exactly how you want it, you just want to give it a title, and then you just want to hit export, and you want to export it to the high quality video as possible, and then that should go directly into your downloads folder. It's another thing to note is that Clipchamp, whenever you're exporting a video, it does take up a lot of your resources, and it can cause your computer to get a bit slow. So it's something that I would leave sort of to the end of the day and just let it run, or just let it run in the background. That way you can still sort of do the rest of your things as well. But what you can do is also just go back to home, and it'll save your changes, so you don't need to export the video then and there. You can just have the video ready to export and then just leave, and then actually export it later on in the day if you need to do that as well. But yeah, that's just another tool that you might need whenever you are making your YouTube videos. Once you have the video and it's ready to upload, what you need to do is go to the relevant folder in the PT team drive. So if we go to the team drive, and you're just looking for the relevant folder basically, and then all you need to do is just upload the video. Just click and drag it onto the folder here, and then once it's uploaded, you should get a link. So if you click on the video once it's uploaded and click on and right click and then click get link, you should be able to get a link that you can copy. And then that way you can paste that link into a comment and tag whoever you need to tag in order to paste that link basically. One thing to make sure whenever you are uploading a video onto your team drive is that you use the hello@profiletree.xyz account. That way if you're using your own personal or if you're using your own ProfileTree account, what happens is if the video is particularly big, it's going to take up a lot of your own storage. So you want to make sure you sign into this account first, and then navigate to the folder that you want to add your video to, and then add the video in that folder. If you use your own account, you'll end up using up all your memory. So just to make sure you have that. You should be able to find the logins in Zoho Vault, but in case you don't, it should be something that the Kieran can give you access to. And that's it. So once you have your video tagged in the comments, or tagged into whoever you need to, then that's really it. OBS is relatively simple to use, but it's also really important that you keep the actual recorder up to date. So if you find that the OBS is being a bit glitchy, for example, it's not stopping the recording, or it's not pausing the recording, or it's not unpausing the recording, then what you need to do first is check for any updates. So if you go into tools or help and you want to look for check for updates, it should let you know if there's an update or not. You should be able to update within the program itself, but for some reason, sometimes if the update doesn't work, sometimes you might get an error that says cannot perform update or update package not available to download, then what you might need to do is actually uninstall OBS completely and reinstall it. Again, a bit of a hassle, but that's kind of the only way around that. It should be fine to just simply look for the update through here and update it directly from here, but you can come across that issue, and if you do, you just need to uninstall OBS and then just install it, download a new version of it from the website and then install it again, and that'll be another way to kind of update it. But yeah, that should be it. I hope this helps.